Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am on Spotify now. So if you have Spotify, do follow me there. I'm going to upload every Friday on Spotify. Also, I'm on Odyssey, which is a brand new upcoming YouTube alternative, and it's going to get big. Trust me, I know it's going to get big. I can't tell you how I know, but I just know. Now, the question of I am, but what is the soul? And I asked this question on my Facebook post a couple of days ago. What is the soul? And how did this question come about? I was on a conversation with my uncle about life, philosophy, spirituality, astrology. And in the conversation, I was saying, you got to understand the soul is this, and the soul is desiring that, or soul is that. And then suddenly my uncle stops. And he just asked me the simple question, but Kapiel, what is a soul? Can you tell me what is a soul? And for the first time, my mouth and my vocal cords wouldn't work. I just felt like I just hit a blank first time that somebody asked me this question in such a simple manner. What is a soul? Can you describe me? Because at that point, I realized that I wasn't the person I was just last year, where in conversations throughout my life, if a subject of soul came in, I would be like, oh, well, soul is this, soul is that, and it's eternal, and it's this, and it's God's energy, and this. But now I was like blank, and that's when I realized that first time in my life, I am on the very first step of even walking on this long journey of spirituality, God realization, enlightenment. Regardless of, let's say I read autobiography of a yogi or Vivekananda's book, or following all these spiritual teachers and learning from them, but I finally realized I don't have an answer. I don't know what the soul is. And it is until you admit defeat that, this person asked me this simple question, and for some reason, my internal self does not want to make anything up to continue the conversation, but to actually sit back and realize that, I have zero clue about what soul is. Even as an astrologer, we're looking at Sun as the soul. We're looking at Atmakarka, the planet with the highest degree, as the Atmakarka, the soul significator that shows all the goop and garbage that is around the soul that has to be cleared up. Okay, fine. It's a technical thing. But again, I don't know what that thing is. I know it's that word is there, the soul. And I know it has this thing of concept through astrology. And through astrology, we can understand that our past life patterns have brought us into this life. And this is what we did in the past life, which is why we're suffering in this life. Okay, we get this mathematical and astronomical map that kind of shows us that it is a redundant, repetitive life. But we still do not know what is a soul. I know what sun is. I can see it every morning. And I can even describe it to you. I've seen the moon, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn live in the sky. I've had experiences outside of my five senses, which, if you have read my book, Nakshatra at the Speed of Light, at one point I discussed that, but I don't ever discuss it outside of that anymore, because once you have experienced something outside of your five senses of hear, taste, smells, and touch, you do not want to ruin that valuable experience you had by just telling about it and having someone else devalue that experience, because I know what I witnessed. And actually, I witnessed it around certain people, even like Togi. But when it comes to really understanding the soul, the first step that I have to understand is I am. Now, how did that I am came? My uncle and I asked my uncle, so what do you think? Why are we here? What is the soul's purpose? What do you think? He said, I don't know what soul is. I have no clue. What I do know, we started from two cells. Two cells coming together through our mother and father, and them multiplying 2, 4, 8, 12, 24, 36, 48, 120, till there were like trillion cells, and then suddenly the body parts came alive, heart started beating, and then the blood was flowing, and you were born, you were given a name, you were given an identity, a family, a mother and father, siblings. And from that point, this empty software started understanding information. Oh, this is what it is, this is what it is. So it's like you are a computer. You are only what the software engineer has put inside, which is our parents and our environment. So if our environment and our software programmer said, this is the word soul and this is what it means. Okay, this is the soul, this is what it means. But if you had a blank slate, and yes, you are above computer, where you can actually think and ponder that I am blank, but where did I come from? That's the only difference. And that's the point you start. And this is actually something I experienced even before this moment when I felt stuck on the phone and not being able to answer it and not wanting to answer it because I did not know. And something inside me said, you can't say anything. And of course, meditation does a lot. And of course, you guys see my hairs are all gray, thinned out. And if you notice from 2017 August onwards, August or July onwards, my hair started becoming really, really gray. My dad, who passed away at 63, had dark hair, brownish dark hair. I have all gray hair already. Because when you start doing meditation and you're doing certain breathing techniques, taking your breath from your Muladhara to Sahasrara chakra, what happens is the heat starts building up here. And that heat either makes you bald or makes your hair really gray. It is a byproduct of that. Actually, meditation ages you. Meditation ages you. And this is so, and it has not given any spiritual progress to me. I am nowhere near spiritual progress in my life. I still get frustrated. I still get angry. I still fight for certain things in this life. But the first step that I realized was that question, what is a soul? But like I was telling you, there's an experience that happened last year, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, maybe now. I was at my cabin with Togi. We were in front of a fire. And we took something. And we took it. It was recommended we only take half of this. But we took the whole thing. Nothing happened. 10 minutes went by, 20 minutes went by, and just I feel a little bit of like that, that drunkenness. Not drunkenness, I would say even like that tipsy. I'm like, that's it. I can get that from a can of beer, an IPA. So we took one more. Okay. A little bit higher. Once the 45th minute came in, 45th or 50th minute came in, because you're looking at our watches as well. Boom, it hit. And it hit like nobody's business. The only thing I remember, I was sitting in the front of the fire and somehow I was just trying to make it to my bed. And once I saw my bed, boom, I just fell in there. And what happened is I went deep underwater. I could hear a little chirping like I'm underwater and people are talking up and down. Even once you're in a swimming pool and you hear someone saying or yelling at you, like, and it was just that. But inside, I saw nothing but darkness, like I'm swimming in my own self. The only thing that I saw is this spine, long, tall spine, like imagine like it's Burj Khalifa, going all the way up where you can't see the end, and down where you can't see the end. It's just these lights, these small little yellow lights that are showing the actual, discs of the spine. And there I went deeper and deeper and deeper, and these color patterns came in, certain being came in. But that's when I came very close to that concept of getting rid of that veil to understand what soul is. I was like very close to understanding soul, myself. I am. But I just could never get through it. And once I came out of it, what I started doing is in my meditation. Because when you meditate and you're breathing, and let's say you're doing chakra breathing, you're imagining like the breath is coming to, let's say, heart chakra, and is going across your heart, across your rib cage, and then coming out, and there's this green light and all of those things. I stopped all of that. Now when I meditate, I'm completely empty and black from within. Empty like space. So when I'm meditating in that lotus posture, it's nothing, I imagine nothing but blankness. Even that I'm breathing, the air is just coming in and out. But there's no imagining of a body part where the prana, the air is circulating through. That has really given that momentum towards the meditation. And this particular question that was asked to me became that first step towards, all right, no fluffing, no making up things. I don't know. I don't know. That becomes my first step towards understanding what really everything is about. And if you really want to understand this to a much deeper level, a refined level, a very refined. Today, moon is in Mula or maybe Purva Shadana. I think it's in Mula still. Now I'm talking about a refinement of the Mula, the Muladhara Chakra, is to go and listen to J. Krishnamurti. I think that's the only individual that has really even tapped into kind of unraveling and ripping apart this question or these answers we get from day-to-day life about soul, God, religion, spirituality. But this is where I am at, and this is where one has to be in order to really understand that shunyata, that zero-ness, the samadhi. And also you guys were asking about ascension process. What's happening with ascension? Well, ascension has been here since 2012, as much as it sounds very cliche about 2012 in Mayan, but the ascension has been there. It's here now. It's happening. The problem is you're looking for that ascension change in everybody. And that's not how things work. Because with day, there's night. With positive, there's negative. With good, there's bad. So with the process of ascension, there's also dissension that is happening. But what you need to realize is stop looking at that from every single thing, because every single thing is not going to be that. You only want to focus and look towards where the ascension is rising, with the people that it's rising with. Because it is going to create its own home, mansion, pyramid, whatever you want to say, while the others are creating their own version of what needs to be happening in the world. You're not going to be having like all 7.5 billion people suddenly waking up and be like, oh yes, this is the ascension now, everything has changed, all the corruption has ended, And also as humans, we are looking for some mainstream news media to tell us, oh yes, this change is happening. They will never tell us anything, which is true and honest. But once you understand that this ascension is happening, but you just need to look from here to that direction where people are with your connection and like-mindedness are there, and you look for that tribe. And then you try to grow out something from that, because that particular thing will be growing in a much more fast exponential pace than what has been. And that's all I have to say about ascension. It's there, it's here, it's happening. You just have to look in the direction where it's happening. But when it comes to I am, that's the question I leave you with. I am, but what is the soul? And be very, very honest with yourself when you try to answer that question. What is the soul? How do you know?